How much is your monthly pay?
Not enough. Not enough. Let me just state that right now. Not enough. And it's never been enough. Hello everyone, it's Haruinkorea, and today I'm here with Grace, and I am going to be doing the Hot Ones challenge. Grace is going to be doing a jam challenge because she's having some stomach issues, and she keeps stating in every video recently that I was in the hospital on Wednesday, so she just wants to make that well known.
Because I don't want everyone to think that I'm a wuss for not doing this thing. I was gonna do it.
She was gonna do it. She was gonna do it. I specifically bought these 2 years ago so we could do it together, but I'm here by myself to do it. Anyway, to make this video more interesting for everybody, we're just gonna answer some teaching questions that people sent to me on my channel or Instagram. I got about 4 to 5 questions, so very popular. And the other questions I just took from old videos from many years ago that people asked about teaching that, you know, might still be relevant today. So anyway, I don't want this video to be super long, so we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. The first hot wing I'll be trying is the classic.
Alright, good old classic. What should the pay raise be for a contract renewal?
Classic already a little spicy. It's good though. Okay, so
100,000 won.
Yeah, 100,000 won is very
year.
Standard per year. If you're feeling adventurous, you could ask for more, but
typically that's what it is. If they don't give you that, that's a red flag.
Yeah, Grace left the school because of that.
Yeah, they gave me a raise. They gave me 0 raise, so I was like, I won't be staying anymore.
I do want to say that some schools have a maximum payment that they might mention when you first sign your contract, but unless you're going to be there for like 5, 6, 7 years, you're probably not going to reach that maximum payment. So always ask for an extra 100,000 won.
Yeah.
Next, I am going to be eating Bliss vinegar, which has a strawberry taste. I actually really like this one. I haven't opened most of them, but this one's really good.
And I'll be doing blueberry. All right. Do you have plans to advance your career? What are your plans, and do you think teaching in Korea is good for those who are hoping to climb the ladder in a way? No.
Yeah, the straight answer is no for that. I do feel like this is a really good question, and I would like to see it a bit more so I make sure I answer it correctly. But for us, she's on a marriage visa, and I am on an E2 visa. If you're on a marriage visa, you have more opportunities to do things, but unless you majored in something like computer science, engineering, marketing, it is very hard to find a job outside of teaching. And for me, because I'm on an E2 visa, the only thing I can do is teach. So we were saying if you were going to be a teacher, the way that you could climb the ladder is the highest spot you'll probably get is like head teacher.
Head teacher is the most you can do, which usually comes with a pay raise.
Some extra benefits.
Some extra benefits. You'll probably still be teaching though. There's not a position that, because of the visa status, unless you have a different visa status, there's not a position that you can get that will get you out of teaching and into management.
Yeah. I will say, if you do have an education degree that could benefit you, you could work at an international school, and I do feel like there would be more opportunities for you there. But in terms of if you didn't major in education and you're coming here on an E2 visa, you're going to be teaching. And for us, we're kind of burnt out from it. But
it allows us to live here, and that'll be what it is.
Yeah. Next one.
Next question.
Wait.
Next hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Oh, and I'll be eating black currant. And our question is, when would be the better months to visit South Korea? Is there any tourist attractions you would recommend, like markets or palaces visits? Are there any good hiking trails?
Great question. There's a lot to dive into with that one, so.
Best months are gonna be spring and fall.
Well, let's give like specifics though. Like I feel like the best months, March, April, May kind of gets a little rainy, but March, April, May is good. Definitely March, end of March, beginning of April, so that you can see the cherry blossoms. You will want to skip June. Do not come in July or August if you can help it. This year September was pretty hot, so then October, November, I think are pretty good months. Yeah. To answer your second question, is there any tourist attractions you would recommend, like markets or palace visits? So I do actually have a video on my channel I'm going to recommend for like 5 places in Korea that are not very well known. But one of the places that I would recommend, and I forget the name of the temple, so maybe I should check. Do you know the name of the temple in Busan that's on the water?
There's a temple in Busan that's right on the water. If you go, they have like a little sign that says the most beautiful temple in Korea. It's called Haedong Yeonggungsa. It's a Buddhist temple. It's not as used for typical Buddhist stuff. It's more of a tourist destination.
But it's very pretty.
But it's very pretty. They have some really good souvenir shops there. I took my mom there. Brianna, did you take your mom there?
Yeah, I've been there twice.
Yeah.
So I love it there. It was one of... I feel like all temples in Korea kind of look the same, and all palaces kind of start to look the same, but that is one that I felt like was very unique to me, at least.
Right, with the ocean view and things.
Yeah. I'm already dying.
If you're gonna only stay in Seoul, obviously visit the palaces. If you want to do shopping, going Myeongdong, all the typical spots I think are good. If you're gonna leave Seoul, some cities I would recommend are Gyeongju for like ancient stuff. There's a lot of really good Shilla, like dynasty stuff that I think is really cool. A lot of like ancient temples, a lot of like very cool spot. There's a giant temple in the mountains that I would recommend going to. Or I would say go to Jeonju. We went to Jeonju together years ago. It's a place, it has a traditional Hanok village. You can wear hanboks. It's just a really fun place to be.
I want to recommend another place, Jinju, which is about 40 minutes from my house. They have a lantern festival every year in October, and it is very well known around Korea. People from all around Korea come to this lantern festival. And it is one of the most magnificent things that I have seen in Korea, and it's kind of hard to surprise me in Korea now, but this lantern festival called the Yudong Chukche is just very pretty. If you're here during the fall months, like October, go to that festival. In terms of hiking trails, there's two places that I would recommend. I don't know if Grace has any places. The first place is if you're not, you know, a super fit person. I really enjoyed going to the Seoul forest. I forget exactly what it's called, so I'll put the name in the bottom. But it's just a very flat trail. You can just walk a really long ways. You can see many different parts of Seoul as you're standing on the bridges and stuff in the forest. And it's very pretty, very easy hike. If you want something expert level, I would recommend going to Soroksan. We went there and we took the cable car because we're cheaters. But if you actually would like to hike all the way to the top, it's very pretty.
Right. I also think, you know, we're not super big hikers, but Korean people are. And the big ones that people really love, the most famous I think would be Jirisan. There's a bunch of different trails you can do on it that are like kind of leveling in difficulty. I would say what Korean people say is easy is not easy. Hiking in Korea becomes rock climbing inevitably, always.
Yeah.
And then the other one, if you're going to Jeju, I've heard a lot of people have hiked Hallasan. It's not easy, but it's so beautiful. So.
Yeah, I would love to do that in the future, but I gotta get more fit.
Yeah.
I gotta start rock climbing for that.
Right.
So thank you for this question. I really loved that question and how it had multiple layers. Next, I hope we're getting through this fast. I don't want this video to be super long, but we talk a lot.
Los Calientes.
Los Calientes. I have obviously eaten a lot of this with my Mexican food that I make.
And I got Fig Royale.
Ooh, just a little bit. So this one is delicious. I will say that.
I love that one.
You guys didn't read the question.
I was eating too. Did your Hagwon help you set up your banking and such?
Yes. I've worked at 3 different Hagwons and all of them have helped me with banking. You need to get your bank account set up before you can get things like your phone and things set up like that. So it did take over a month for me to first get a phone when I came to Korea. So I would recommend maybe getting like an eSIM or something like that your first month because it takes a bit of time to get your alien registration card, your banking set up, and then you can finally get your phone. But yes, my Hagwon did help me set up. My next wing is going to be Hotheads Official.
That looks good. And I've got Black Cherry.
Roasted bell and scorpion.
Bell pepper, scorpion peppers are pretty hot.
Hey.
Bell peppers are sweet. How much is your monthly pay?
Not enough. Not enough. Let me just state that right now. Not enough. And it's never been enough.
I mean, I think we're both very open to talking about this. Some people are not. When we both arrived in Korea, we both started getting paid 2.5 and then we had Hagwon apartments. So that was, rent was free. The next job we went to was like, oh, our base pay for your level of experience is 2.4. So we started again at 2.4. Then we ended up working extra hours and ended up making 2.6 or 2.5 and then 2.6 the next year when we re-signed. After that, I went to another school who said, oh, I can only afford to pay you 2.5. So I started back over. 2.5 is pretty standard.
2.5 is standard. A lot of jobs now, like everybody's saying the minimum is 2.4. Don't accept anything less than 2.4. Similar to Grace, I started with 2.5 in an apartment. The next year, 2.4 in an apartment. The year after that, because of extra hours, I got 2.7 in an apartment. And then I decided to take a job that was very part-time from 2 to 6:30, 3 times a week, and 2 to 7:30, 2 times a week. So now I get 2.2 and then 300,000 in a housing stipend, and I struggle every month, but I also have shopping addictions and like to travel. So maybe that's on me, but when you like see how much money you make in America, when you translate that back to America, we make like $24,000 a year, if that. Maybe
even
20,
I
23, 22,000. It's very low. So when you look at it that way, we're like, we make $0. But anyway, moving on. That one was spicier than I thought. I am going to be eating this adobo black lime ghost peppers.
With only getting 10 or 11 vacation days, how are you able to balance living life in terms of planning trips with your boyfriend or seeing family abroad?
So standard vacation days should be 11. If you have less than 5 employees at your Hagwon, it can be less. They don't have to follow the rules, but that's a red flag to me. I feel like it is easier for me to balance life because I work less hours.
And you also get way more vacation days.
I also get like 5 weeks of vacation. Not all of it is paid, but it is a lot of vacation time in comparison. I feel like for me, since I get more vacation time, I am able to do more things, but I would like to answer this question like from previous years when I had less vacation time. It was very difficult. It was pretty impossible to travel home because we live in America.
We would never travel home.
Because for a week to spend that much money to go home, it was just impossible. So we would just travel around Asia, and the flights are pretty close and things like that. So yeah, seeing family abroad was difficult, even though I'm only able to see my boyfriend on the weekends because we don't live in the same city. And if you work a job that's like a 9 to 6, it is very hard to balance life because everything that you need to do, like if you need to run errands, is open from 9 to 6. So it's impossible to do anything. And
Post office, bank,
well, you can go to
doctor's offices.
Yeah, doctor's offices usually close around 6, except on special days they might have one day where they're open late, so people can rush there. But it is harder to balance life, in my opinion, if you work a job that's 9 to 6. So our advice for you would just be don't. Try to find a job. Even I feel like 12 to 9 is better because at least you have the morning time to like do those errands if you need to or something. Like, just to me, 9 to 6 is the worst possible shift you could work. Okay, next I will be eating
chile lengua de fuego.
I have no idea what that means.
It means the tongue of fire.
Wow, someone paid attention in high school. Spanish.
And she took way more Spanish than I
took 3.5 years of Spanish.
I took like 2 maybe. Our question is, do you run out of money often? Will I need more money than my monthly wage if I live in Korea?
Okay, we did talk about this, so I'm going to try not to make it too long, and I'll let Grace interject too, but I end every month with anywhere from 0 to 15,000 won, and if it's at 15,000 won, I feel like that was a pretty good month for me. If you're good at not overspending your money, if you don't have a shopping addiction, if you're not trying to travel to a bunch of different countries during your vacation, because ticket prices are insane right now, you probably won't need more money, but for us, since we're trying to live like
a happy life?
A happy life, yeah. We like to travel a lot and things like that, so.
I think that's the thing. If you're gonna live in Korea, you could definitely budget where you save some money. I mean, I used to save 500,000 a month so I could pay my deposit on my house or on my apartment. It was able to be done, especially when I was making 2.6, 2.7. I also think just if you want to enjoy life, probably not.
Yeah, I think it could be hard. There definitely might be some months you're kind of struggling a bit more with money, but I guess it depends on how much you get paid, how much you're sending back to your American account. Do you have student loans and credit cards like us? So the exchange rate is just terrible right now. So sending home like 500,000 won is gonna be like 350 or something dollars. So yeah, but the thing I will say is apartment rent is much cheaper. Cost of living is getting more expensive here, but it's definitely cheaper than America or maybe another Western country. All right, so we're gonna try the worst hot sauce, or I'm gonna try the worst hot sauce made to man, the bomb.
This is the bomb evolution. We've tried the bomb before. Last time we did this.
We'll never eat that again.
And we're hoping this one will be better. Well, I'm not trying it.
Okay, my yogurt ready. I'm taking a small.
I've got mango and passion fruit. Take a bite and I'll read the question. Do a real bite.
No, I'm not having my stomach be messed up. I'm not like that.
How did you make friends in South Korea? What, or did you find yourself struggling to get around South Korea at the beginning? Language barrier.
Definitely better than the last one.
At least tastes like something.
I don't think it tastes like anything, but maybe I didn't take a big enough bite.
Then go for another one.
No, I'm not. My lips are already tingling.
You want me to start?
I don't remember what the question was. It definitely burns like the last one.
It says, did you struggle finding friends?
I feel like if you're coming to... Yeah, you can just go ahead and take this one.
Okay. So, I think it depends on what kind of person you are. Brianna and I came... We didn't work at the same school, but we came together.
It's really hot.
And we ended up hanging out as soon as I got there. But as far as making friends, that's one thing a chain school I think is good for. If you like your coworkers, you're actually in a space where you're going to interact with a lot of people. And that's how I first made friends and how she first
It doesn't go away.
made friends was our coworkers. A struggle to get around because of the language barrier is definitely a big thing. I think her and I... You want to try? Give a little something.
I want some ice cream. I want to say though, did you talk about making Korean friends?
Oh, I've never made any Korean friends. I wouldn't know. I mean,
I know. Just talk about like, do you think it's difficult?
I think it's totally difficult unless you're putting yourself out there, like joining clubs or maybe trying to do language exchange and things like that. We never did those things. So I think for us it was kind of like, well, we're just not making friends. I think the way we made friends was through the small amount of friends that we did make. But if you do want to make friends, you really have to put yourself out there. Like
Korean friends specifically.
If you want to make Korean friends, you really got to put yourself out there.
But yeah, in terms of what Grace was saying, if you work at a school that has other like foreign teachers, you probably just are going to become friends with the foreign teachers. If not, there's a lot of Facebook groups. And I've heard like a lot of people making friends through Facebook groups, like meetups and things like, oh, I'm going to this K-pop event, or oh, we're gonna all meet up at this bar or something. Right. So in terms of language barrier, for us, it wasn't that bad because we had the very basic level of Korean when we came here.
Right. Restaurants and things like that, that was never an issue. Banking and doing phone, we had Joanne and
our friend who spoke Korean really well.
Yeah, and then for the most part, the school helped us with those kind of things. And so it was like, if you really had an issue, you just tell the school. If you're refusing to learn Hangul, things will be hard for you.
Yeah, just at least learn how to read the language. That, like, it will take you
a week, maybe.
I wouldn't say, you could learn it in a day.
Yeah. And
just practice some reading. But, yeah, that's what we can answer. I don't know how well she answered the question. I didn't listen to anything she said, but I hope it wasn't that bad. Okay. We've only got 2 more questions left. This one is Hellfire Cranked. I can't imagine anything being spicier than the bomb. My lips are still like on fire.
We've got raspberry and pomegranate. How do you get out of a teaching contract? That's a good question, especially for a spicy one. So this is actually kind of, you want me to do it? Okay. Brianna's like midnight run, which is definitely a way.
I'm just joking.
If they can't keep in the country, so if you just want to bounce, you can totally do that.
But if you want to do it the correct way so that you can get another job, Grace will hopefully give you the correct
job. If you're on an E2 visa, your visa is connected to your job. So if you quit your job, you need to leave the country. The only
you have about 14 days.
You have 10 to 14 days to get out of the country. So if you're like, I'm done, I'm not working here anymore, then you need to be ready to pack up and leave. You don't have the grace to figure out what you're doing. But if you have a good relationship with your school, or your school is not trying to screw you over, what you can do is say, I'm quitting, I need a letter of release. A letter of release is basically the school saying, I'll release you from your contract. After you get a letter of release, you can go to another school who can give you another contract.
So basically, try to have a good relationship with your school if possible. And if you are going to leave, make sure, you know, you give them enough time to try to find somebody to replace you. If they're not like screwing you over, if you do that, they're more likely to give you a letter.
Right. So if you're saying like, listen, I'm quitting, but I'll give you 2 months to find someone, which is a lot of contracts like, please give us 60 days notice. there's nothing saying you have to do that, like if you want to leave, but if you really want to let her release, you need to have a good relationship with them because they don't have to give it to you.
They don't have to. They can withhold that. And if they withhold it, like you could try to get a lawyer and go through that whole process, which I've read about some people doing that online, but it would just be a hassle. Probably easier just to leave. Right. But we do want to say, if your school's abusing you, just do a midnight run. If you don't get abused by your school.
Don't feel bad your life. Yeah. Brianna stayed for all of her contracts.
There you go. Some of them were hard to get to the end, but we made it. Just like it's been hard to get to the end of this video, and what a way to wrap it up. So I'm gonna eat the last dab.
All right, last wing. How did you manage hostile school environments, parents, and coworkers? I got apple and cinnamon.
That is a great question. I feel like how did I manage it is not, I can't tell you how I manage it. Maybe Soju. I've never worked in a school that was like aggressively hostile to me.
To you, yeah.
To other people maybe, and it was more under the table, so it's kind of hard for me to answer that question, but let me think. I feel like we've had to deal with a lot of parent issues, like parents complaining, parents not liking like the way like teachers do something or the way things are done, but thankfully the way that I at least handled that was, if it's a parental problem, co-teachers handle that.
Right.
So I just hear about it from my co-teacher, and then my co-teacher tries to like fix the problem, I guess. Co-workers, I saw a lot of hostile co-workers, especially when we worked at a chain Hagwon, because we didn't have our own offices. We were all in the same office, and it was like 10 of us together. And if there was drama between one person,
it was just everybody.
So awkward.
I've heard people screaming at each other in those offices. Like I said, those places are places you can make friends, but it feels kind of like very cliquey and high schooly, where people are fighting, people are dating, people are like, you know, whispering, gossiping.
I was gonna say that also. I was gonna say, handling a hostile school environment, the best thing, I tell Grace this all the time, the best thing you can do is to be the most liked person there. And that's
to the management.
Yeah, to the management. And like, that sounds bad, but I mean, like, even if you don't like something and you need to address it, just do it in the most polite way and make it seem like you're not like attacking the management, because then I feel like they treat you better.
Right.
And it'll make your life easier. And
I think that's a working culture thing here. I see a lot of European people and South African people who come here and teach, and I'm not hating on them at all because I admire them, but they're coming from a culture where you stand up for your labor rights and your way things are done in the workplace, whereas Korea and kind of America are definitely workplace environments where you just get it done and you say okay. And so a lot of things I realized is, if you want to push back, like Brianna said, do it in the most soft way, like it was not even your idea.
Yeah, like I'm doing this to better help the school. The
school, right? And then there's so many things that you could fight, but it's not worth it. So to be more agreeable, I know this sounds like stupid, like you shouldn't, like you should advocate for yourself, but don't fight them on it, because it just, as coming from a Korean perspective, it's insubordination. And then they just look at you as a difficult person. Yeah. And if they frame you as a difficult person, you're never going to get favorable behavior.
Yeah.
And so just a lot of times, if it's not worth it, if you're like, oh, I think this is a dumb decision, it doesn't affect me that much, but I don't think it's going to benefit the school, just say okay. Yeah. You know? Okay. Because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it, the big fight, because you're going to lose that fight anyway. I would say when it comes to matters of contract and them following the contract, that does not apply.
Yeah.
You should stand up for yourself and be strong on them following their contract. But when it comes to like, they're gonna do an event that you think is stupid and it's gonna cause a bunch of extra work and the kids are not gonna like it, don't mention it. Just say, okay.
Alright. I do feel like we spent a long time on that question, but I think you answered it really well at the end.
I think that's a complex question.
It is a very complex question, but somebody did ask me that, and I kind of forget how I answered it in the message, but I definitely had more time to think about it as I was typing.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, this video is probably much longer than I intended, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video and watching me die on the last 3 hot wings.
Did you like my jam?
And
my jam experience?
Grace open up all of my lovely jams.
They were delicious.
I bet they were.
It's apple cinnamon. I might be taking this.
No, yeah, that was the one that I tried too. I thought that was the best. My lips are still tingling, so we're gonna go ahead and end this video. If you like this
some
video,
more ice cream?
Yeah, they're tingling, man. If you like this video, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys have any questions about teaching or living in Korea, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will gladly get to them in a timely fashion. Make sure you give this video a like. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. I'll see you guys later. Bye.